Welcome to Health Hacktivators with lifestyle medicine doctor, GP and longevity expert Dr. Alka Patel. This show will help you to discover a hidden health hacking code that unlocks your phenomenal potential for an outstanding health span, lifespan and wealth span. The show features candid conversations with celebrities, influencers and industry icons, real-life stories and cutting-edge health activating advice that other doctors might not tell you. Discover why now is the time to join the strategic self-care revolution and experience the profound effects this will have on your personal and professional success. Now, here is your host, Dr. Alka Patel.
Before we get into today's conversation, please do support today's show's sponsor, Youth and Earth. Youth and Earth have a range of products that I love to use myself to supercharge my metabolism, to support my health, and to slow down cellular aging. So just be sure you click the link in the show notes for exclusive offers, which Youth and Earth are so generously giving only for listeners of this show. Hi, hey, and hello, Health Hacktivators. So are you ready to unlock your health activation code in 3 steps? We've got data, devices, and decisions. Now, this week I was in deep conversation with Dr. Amar Khan. You'll know him as cosmetics specialist to the stars. So if you haven't listened to the interview yet, then I really would suggest that it's well worth the listen, simply to tap into Dr. Khan's years of experience where he's been leading the aesthetics and the cosmetic intervention industry. And we talk about a lot of things on the show. We talk about beauty and the skin and the gut and regenerative medicine and the hallmarks of aging as well. So today, for today's health hacks, I'm zoning in on one of the areas we covered in the interview, which was talking about the skin microbiome. So more specifically today, I want to talk about how to test it. So what I'll do is I'll cover the effects of the skin microbiome and how to change it and how to treat it in future episodes, because these are big discussion points on their own. But for today, I want to focus very specifically on skin microbiome testing. And why am I doing that? Well, because you have to test it first in order to be able to treat it. You've got to know where you're starting to know where you want to get to, right? Test and track. So let's get into the health activation code, which is all about using data and devices to make strategic decisions to optimize your health. And I want to do this today with a 3, 2, 1, with a 3, 2, 1, go. I will give you 3 pieces of data related to your skin microbiome, which are important. Then I'll give you 2 devices to use and then 1 decision to focus on. So that'll be a bit of fun. But before I get going, I just want to give you a quick bit of background and context in relation to the skin microbiome. So what is the skin microbiome? Well, it's definitely an area which has been receiving huge scientific attention, because we've been talking about the gut microbiome for quite a while now, but attention is now turning to the skin microbiome. So what is it? What is the skin microbiome? Well, think of it as a collective name, an umbrella name for the ecosystem of microorganisms that live on and beneath the surface of your skin as well. So I'm talking bacteria and fungi, which have a host of essential functions. And they, of course, come along with all of their genes as well. There's trillions and trillions of them. And conceivably, if you think about it, your skin is the largest organ of your body. Think of this, it's 15% of your body weight. So it plays a significant part in your health. So it's your very first protective barrier. Of course it is. And the most important thing to know is that your skin microbiome, it communicates directly with your immune system. It's a very active organ, which means that when you're threatened, your immune system then produces antimicrobial substances, and it produces this through the microbiome that you have that's in your skin and on your skin, so that you can then fight pathogens. But here's what you need to know. What you need to know is that because it communicates with your immune system, your skin microbiome then also connects with your body's inflammatory responses. And inflammation, well, you've heard me say this several times on this show, so you'll know my feelings about inflammation. Inflammation is what lies at the root of illness. And not just about playing a part in your skin health, but remember chronic inflammatory responses. When chronic inflammatory responses are in play, there is a whole cascade of events that potentially then results in chronic illnesses like diabetes and Alzheimer's and depression. And we talked a little bit about depression on the interview with Dr. Amar Khan today as well. But what I do want to do is I just want to preface this episode in terms of the research into the skin microbiome, because the research really is very much in its infancy. So it is important for you to remember this when you're testing your skin microbiome. Remember that the research is in its infancy. But, look, we are health hacktivators here. Well, what does that mean? Well, it means that we're making informed decisions that go beyond waiting for population level research. Now, look, I love research. I love research. It's an underpinning. It underpins scientific evidence, but sometimes it just takes too long to reach you. And of course, it's not without its biases as well. And sometimes it's very difficult to extrapolate meaningful information from research studies as well, which means that as a health activator, you need to put yourself at the forefront of what is possible instead of just waiting in line. And my role is very much to share with you what we know right now, but also to share with you what is possible as well. So let's get into this. Let's get into the data. What data is important to look at when you look at your skin microbiome? So we're going 3, 2, 1, go. So 3 pieces of data. Firstly, microbiome diversity. What's microbiome diversity? Well, this is a different variety of bacteria and fungi that are on your skin. So look at how varied the population is. Is one species more prominent than another? So when you're looking at your data overall, the more diverse your skin microbiome, then the stronger the link is to positive health outcomes. Now, remember as well, what I said is that we're still in the early stages of research, so we don't really know what constitutes a healthy skin microbiome. So there aren't really any target numbers to aim for at the moment in terms of a population of this bacteria or that bacteria. But what we know is important to aim for right now is diversity. The more diverse, the better. It's the second thing when looking at your skin microbiome data is to know where your sample is taken from, and then to interpret your data and understand your data with that in mind. So here, think about 3 distinct zones in your skin: dry, moist, and sebaceous. And the reason for thinking about these 3 different areas is that different species of fungi and bacteria will have a preference for different locations. So you need to be sure to match the interpretation of your data to the location of your sample. So let me give you an example. So when you've got a bacteria like Corynebacterium, it thrives in areas where you sweat. So areas like your forehead or under your arms. Proteobacteria, it's another bacteria. Proteobacteria, on the other hand, it's much more suited for more dry skin. So areas like the inside of your forearm, for example. And then other bacteria like Staphylococcus, it's a more commonly known one, that tends to congregate in areas where you've got high pH and high humidity. So places like your elbow creases and your knee creases. So really important, that's the second thing, is think about knowing where that data is coming from, where the sample is being taken from. So third thing when you're looking at your data is to make sure that you understand its significance. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, let me give you another example. Say you're found on your testing to have lots of Corynebacterium acnes. So that's a bacteria that's known to be associated with acne. But what you need to know is that not all Corynebacterium acne strains are problematic. There's only certain ones they are. And at the moment, some tests don't really have the precision to identify specific strains. So you might find out that you've got a lot of Corynebacterium acnes on your skin, which might indicate a problem, or it might indicate that there's no problem and these are all great strains that are very beneficial for you. So you might end up with more questions than answers when you look at your raw data, which is why data interpretation is so important, and which is why it really is useful to look at your data with a specialist in a clinical context as well. Because I see a lot of clients who buy off the shelf commercial tests and then they're just stuck. They're just stuck with, what do I do next? And unfortunately, most doctors just don't get enough training regarding the skin. Medical school, we got at tops, a week of dermatology training. And yet over 30% of GP consultations, they relate directly to the skin, which doesn't make any sense, does it? Which is exactly why then I went on and did very, very extensive postgraduate dermatology training, got even more letters behind my name, which means that I am here. So please do get in touch with me for specialist interpretation of your results when you take your skin microbiome testing. So my email's in the show notes so you know how to get in direct contact with me as well. So that's 3 areas to consider when looking at your skin microbiome data. Now let's have a look at devices. So how can you test your skin microbiome? So here are 2 devices that I have looked at in terms of testing, and I go into them in a lot more detail in my blog on testing the skin microbiome. So just make sure that you have a read of that as well, and I'll pop the link for that in the show notes as well. So the first device, the first test, is a test that's done by the Skin Trust Club. And what this test does is it uses a combination of very advanced sequencing technologies as well as artificial intelligence algorithms, and it gives you an estimate of what they call your microbiome balance score. So it's one of those to do at home swab tests, and you do the swab from the outer part of your cheek. And the reason that in this test they use your cheek is because it's considered to be an area that's most exposed to the environment. Now, we're not talking in depth about this today, but there are a number of factors which affect your skin microbiome. But just to give you a little flavour, age, for example, your skin microbiome constantly changes and evolves as you age. There's gender as well that has an influence. So there's hormonal differences between men and women, which produce different microbiomes in men and women. Temperature, your skin microbiome will be different in different climates and different temperatures. Genetics, your DNA is very, very important. It's an incredibly important contributor to the health of your skin as well. Diet, we all love talking about food, and food has got an important effect on how your microbiome shows up as well. And then, of course, also environment. So what is in your environment, air quality, what products you're using on your skin, how often you're washing. This is all going to make a difference to the types of microbiome that live more permanently on your skin and also more transiently in your skin as well. So with the test, you take the sample, you send back the kit, and you get a report. And the report gives you a score out of 100 and is also linked to an app as well, so that it lets you continue to track your skin microbiome and gives you info such as the UV exposure and the pollution range of the environment that you're in. So that is the Skin Trust Club test. The second device, the second test is the Elsa Jugman kit. Again, I'm going into more detail in this in my blog, so do have a read. But this sample is analysed with next generation sequencing. It's a particular technique. And this sample is taken from your forehead. And the report, what it does is it gives you an overview of the top 10 bacteria and fungi on your skin's surface. So you'll get a diversity score. And this score doesn't range to 100. It ranges from -2 to +2, and it's based very much on the abundance of different bacteria and fungi on the skin, what are classed as disruptive, bad, unknown, good, or beneficial. So those are just 2 devices, 2 test kits that you can look at, and I'll put the links in the notes as well so you can have a look at that in more detail as well. So we've got data, devices, and now decisions. The decision for you now is, do I have a home test of my skin microbiome or not? Is it worth it? Is it a gimmick? Is it too early to test? Is it helpful? So my first answer to that is, if you have any skin complaints or skin conditions, then absolutely yes to testing. Eczema, psoriasis, acne, rosacea, test your skin microbiome so that you understand really what is or isn't supporting your skin, so that you've got a way of tracking then the impact of changes to your skin that you make when you make very targeted changes to your skin routine. So that's a yes. But secondly, what if you don't have any direct skin concerns? Well, let's think here about learning from what we know about the gut microbiome and the wider impact that the gut microbiome has on our health. And it's exactly the same with the skin microbiome. There are wider implications to your health as well. So gut microbiome testing is now much more understood, and skin microbiome testing is catching up. So why not just stay ahead of the game, right? The more insights that you have into your biodata, of course, the more data then you've got to work with, which will take you beyond guesswork. You've got real-time personalized data to work with. So yes, 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 test, test, test. And look, aren't you curious anyway? Aren't you curious to know what is renting out space on your skin? Now, look, I do believe that everyone should be empowered to learn about the science of their skin. And I believe that you should have the information that you need to choose how you take care of, hey, the largest organ of your body. So, as I've said, I put all the links to tests and my blog as well, with more information on it on the show notes as well. So do please take a look and let's get this skin microbiome testing underway and give you those insights into your data so that you can make decisions with much more precision as well. So I hope you have enjoyed today's unlocking of your health activation code, and I wish you a health activating day.